Welcome to this presentation on the Chapter Master Report and Service to America Tally. I'm Susan Metzger, and I'm joined by Kathy Hayes, our State Chair for the Service to America Committee. Together, we'll share an overview, step-by-step instructions, and tips for completing your chapter's annual reporting through the Chapter Master Report and Service to America Tally. The Chapter Master Report is the annual reporting of chapter activities. The report is organized by national committees, and it serves as your primary opportunity to share information about your chapter's activities. Your responses provide the basis for state and national awards. Within the Chapter Master Report, you'll also complete the Chapter Achievement Award form and your final annual tally for all of your Service to America activities. If you have questions about the Chapter Achievement Award, be sure to check out the presentation in the virtual committee fair, as well as the Treasurer's presentation. Karen Smith, our State Chair of the Chapter Achievement Award, shares really helpful information in both of those presentations. Let's begin by taking a look at the Chapter Master Report, or CMR as it's usually referred to. You can access a CMR either through e-membership or through the NSDAR members website. You might also find it helpful to print out a copy of the CMR for taking notes, planning chapter activities, or to share with your chapter committee members. You can also download and print a copy of the CMR from our NSDAR members website. Kathy Hayes has also developed this really great simplified form that talks about each of the questions that are answered committee by committee. We'll link that with this presentation. Even if you print out a copy, all entries for your chapter must be submitted electronically. Whether you access the CMR through e-membership or through the link on the NSDAR members website, you'll need your chapter's 4-digit PIN access code. You can locate your chapter's PIN access code on your home membership profile page of e-membership. Note that the PIN access code changes periodically, so the code you used last year likely won't be the code you use this year. Check e-membership and share the new code with all members who you want to assist in completing the CMR. The reporting period for the CMR is the calendar year, January 1st to December 31st. The official membership count for reporting purposes is determined on January 1st of each year, and it's automatically filled in for you on the CMR. The deadline to complete the CMR is February 1st, Hawaii time. Don't wait until the last day of January to complete your report. The CMR is available now. Begin now entering information into your chapter CMR so you don't overlook activities and don't become overwhelmed. Start now. You'll be glad you did. As mentioned, the CMR is organized by national committees. It is common for some chapters to have a lot of activities in one area and little to no activities in another, and that is okay. Your chapter's activities reflect the interest of your members, so don't feel like you have to answer all of the questions in the CMR or address every committee. If you have a committee for which you have no activities, mark no report at the top of the page. This will help our state chairs determine the progress of chapter reporting. Each committee report will have a series of questions, all ending with an open-ended opportunity to share additional information. This is a great space to highlight a special activity or recognize a member that went above and beyond in service to that particular committee. You are not limited in space with this question, so feel free to share details. If you send in any materials such as photos to the state chair, please indicate yes so that the state chair is aware of your additional materials. Not all committees choose to collect reports through the Chapter Master Report. A good example is the Community Service Awards Committee. For any committee that you have activities to report that are not included in the CMR, please send that information directly to the state chair of that committee. After you have entered all of your chapter's activities into the Chapter Master Report, your state chair and national chair of those committees can view your report. You do not need to print, mail, or email your CMR. The state chairs and national chairs not only can see your report, they can see a combined tally of all the chapter's efforts related to this committee. This really helps to quickly tally the combined efforts of our members. The information you enter is also helpful as chairs determine awards and special recognitions. Let's look through a couple of step-by-step instructions for completing the Chapter Master Report. As mentioned, you can access your chapter's CMR either through e-membership or from the link on our NSDAR members website. Be sure to locate your 4-digit PIN access code from your member management profile page on e-membership. When you first log into the CMR, you'll see a screen that looks like this. This is the main login screen for chapters, chairs, and state leaders. You'll begin in the area labeled for chapter login. From that area, pick your state from the drop-down box, select Kansas, and click on Go. On the next screen, you'll select your chapter, enter your national number, and your chapter's 4-digit PIN access code, then click on Go. This will take you to the main menu of the Chapter Master Report. From this main menu page, you'll see a quick snapshot of your survey status, either pending, in progress, or complete. From this main page, you can also access the instructions. If this is your first time completing the CMR, you might consider printing these off for reference. To begin entering information for your chapter, you will click on Open Chapter Master Report Survey. The index of the CMR is organized by committees under the groupings Service, Genealogy, Administrative, and Special. You can either start with American Heritage and move sequentially until you complete the America 250 report, or you can visit committee reports as you have information to share. That's what I recommend. We will be celebrating Constitution Week soon. Why not visit this committee report at the end of September to enter information while it's fresh in your mind? As you make progress entering information into the CMR, you'll see that the status icon next to each committee changes. The first time you visit, all committee status icons will be gray to indicate the report is pending. As soon as you answer even one question in that committee, the status will change to green, the started icon. And if you mark a committee as no report, it will show up as red. This is a great quick way to visually see your progress. At any point in time as you are working through the CMR, you can return to the index page by clicking on the committee index at the top of the screen, or you can return to the main menu by clicking on Home. The Chapter Achievement Award form is one of the committee links in the index page under the heading Administrative. The Chapter Achievement Award is a measure of health of any chapters. It is a time for chapters to look at what they've achieved and what they should try to achieve in order to remain viable. Again, I recommend listening to the Chapter Achievement Award Form presentation as part of the virtual committee fair, and the more detailed presentation as part of the Chapter Treasurer's presentation during this virtual State September meeting. Each of the committee pages in the CMR will ask just a few questions. Some questions are yes, no, some numeric, and some essay. You can quickly tell what type of response is requested by the color of the box. Pink boxes are for numeric responses, green is for currency, and blue boxes are for text responses. If you enter a text response in a numeric box, an error dialog box will pop up, prompting you to enter the correct format. As you work through the CMR, you might have questions, or you might have additional materials you'd like to share with the state committee chair. You can quickly access the chair's contact information by clicking on Display State Contact Information at the top of the screen. A pop-up box will appear with the chair's name, mailing address, email, and the committee website. As you have completed your Chapter Master Report, I recommend downloading a copy for future reference. From the menu, you will see Export CMR and follow the download instructions. I also think it's a nice idea to pass around a printed copy at a chapter meeting so your chapter members can see all of their collective work from the year in one report. No later than February 1st Hawaii time, you will want to mark your chapter's report complete. Flagging this report lets me, as state regent, and our committee chairs know that you successfully completed the report. If before the February 1st deadline you mark the report complete, but then you think of something you'd like to add, you can always reopen the CMR Just be sure to mark the report complete again before the deadline. Now let's look in greater detail to the Service of America Committee component of the Chapter Master Report. Kathy Hayes, our state chair, will share some important information about the Service to America Committee and walk you through the reporting process. Kathy?
Thank you, Madam State Regent. Our National Society has provided millions of hours in volunteer services since its inception in 1890. The work of DAR can be seen across the nation and around the world, in times of war and peace, during natural disasters, and in national crisis. The women of DAR have always answered the call to action. More importantly, daughters make volunteering and serving in their local communities an everyday occurrence. Our activities are concentrated in the areas of historic preservation, education, patriotism, and community service. While we do not do this for the purpose of recognition, it's important for us to have a record of the time and activities of the daughters. When others ask, just what does DAR do? Or question if we're still relevant, this information is what we can use to demonstrate the impact that our society has made and continues to make. President General Van Buren has set a goal of 10 million hours during her administration. This is a bold undertaking and can only be achieved if everyone does their part. I have no doubt that DA works hard and can meet that goal, but I strongly believe that daughters are underreporting their efforts. So far, Kansas daughters have contributed almost 150,000 hours towards this goal. You will have daughters ask you, does this count? When submitting their meaningful service on the Service to America online tally. Meaningful service is defined as any volunteer activity that serves God, home, and country. It includes time spent on historic preservation, education, patriotism, and community activities for the benefit of others. It does not include activities covered by your civic duties, activities that benefit just your family, courses taken, or anything else that you are paid or reimbursed for. Most of you are very familiar with the Service to America tally, and some of this information may be redundant. Please share this with members who may not be familiar with it and use it as a step-by-step guide. With daughters having the ability to record their own community service on the national website, I hope that we can move away from regents and other officers and chapter chairs collecting little bits of paper each month and spending time recording hours for the chapter. There may still be a few members without internet access, and adding their hours will still be necessary. But I firmly believe that most daughters will do this themselves if they understand why it is important. When daughters log into the members section of the national website, they will find two ways to access the Service to America tally. They will need to continue with another login, beginning with selecting Kansas from the drop-down box. The chapter will be selected from another drop-down box, and they will enter their national number. The chapter and national number will auto-generate from the login provided. The fields in red will need to be completed on the Volunteer Service Hours submission form. Give a description of the activity, but please don't use abbreviations. GBCWT may make sense on your personal calendar, but no one else knows what that means. Clicking the event date will pop up a calendar to fill in that field. For participants, most activities will be recorded for an individual, but a group activity can also be reported. In that case, report the total number of hours for the group. If 5 ladies work 2 hours, the hours recorded will be 10. For total hours, will be selected from another drop-down box, and all time should be rounded to the nearest hour. For daughters who have recurring activities, such as delivering Meals on Wheels every other week or leading a weekly scout troop, those hours could be entered together instead of reporting each time the event occurs. Do them in bulk. Weekly hospital visitation for 2 months could be recorded as 8 hours. 1 hour times 8 weeks. Just make sure that it's reflected in the description field. But this is where I think we lose a lot of records. Since most computers will only show the top of the form, some will log out and think their activity hours have been recorded. Members must scroll down to save their report. The mission area and category fields are checkboxes. Since it is possible for activities to overlap, please check as many boxes as are appropriate. It may be necessary to use the other box to write in community service or another category not listed. In the optional narrative, please give more details of the activity. If it's a group project, please list the names of the daughters who participated. If there are pictures, please remember to send them to the National through the link provided. Don't forget to make them available for your chapter newsletter, social media platforms, the Kansas Facebook group, the National Service to America Facebook group. Although there is a tendency not to want to brag, please consider that sharing what has been done encourages others and gives them ideas of what may work for their chapter. Now you may save your activity. Here is an example of a report ready to be saved. You will see that it includes weekly activities for a 3-month period. After the report has been saved, a confirmation screen will appear. From the activity log, a daughter may review the record. To repeat an ongoing volunteer activity, click the green Duplicate for Another Date button. The volunteer service hours submission form will reappear with all the fields auto-generated. Simply change the date and update any additional information before saving again. She will also see a delete button. This can be used if you've duplicated an activity or if you need to make some edits to an entry and resubmit it. You can also go back to the volunteer service hours submission form in the Submit a New Activity by clicking on the indicated link at the top on the top left. This will prevent you from having to log into the Service to America tally for each activity. When you're done, click the Logout button. Encourage your members to log their hours on a regular basis, maybe weekly or monthly. Also make a note to yourself to log in regularly. I've noticed that chapter regents and state officers do not have as many hours recorded as you would expect. I know there's a lot of work being done on behalf of the society that is not being included. Now that we've encouraged our membership to log in their hours, what do? From e-membership, regents can access the chapter report of the Service to America tally under the report tabs. Download the report, but remember that it will update as daughters add their hours, and it may be necessary to download the information a couple times for updates. Make notes on the download spreadsheet of what you want to specifically note on the CMR. This may be an extraordinary project or any member who needs a little encouragement, maybe a new member or an older member who just needs to feel like her contributions are really worthwhile. But remember to use this information to strengthen your chapter and not just to complete the CMR. Service to America and the CMR. Regents can use any information that will help them complete the CMR. Use the Service to America tally, chapter minutes and yearbook, your calendar, information from committee chairs, a review of your social network platforms. Use anything that will help remind you of what the daughters have accomplished. To help with time management and stress levels, you may want to create a document and write in your narratives as you go throughout the year. There's a lot of chapter activity that takes place between January and after Continental Congress when the next year's CMR will become available. If you have a document that you add to as the year progresses, you can update things as they happen. This will save you time in January and February because you've already collected the information. All you will need to do is copy and paste your text into the CMR. The first item on the CMR for the Service to America Committee is a reminder for the chapter members to log their meaningful community service. There's also an option to get a quick peek at the total number of hours for your chapter. The CMR will include Item 2, a committee chair, Item 3, the NSDAR Day of Service, Item 4, the National Face Mask and PPE Project, and Item 5, sharing on the NSDAR Service to America Facebook group. Like other committees, you will be asked about special projects to be considered for recognition and if you send information to the state committee chair. Item 2 is pretty straightforward. Do you have a chapter Service to America chair? Item 3 on the CMR is the NSDAR Day of Service. Encourage your members to celebrate our society's anniversary by participating in the NSDAR Day of Service. It may be a chapter project or something they do on their own on or around October 11th. This year, we are encouraging Kansas Daughters to participate on the Service for Veterans project on October 10th to make 2020 no-sew blankets in 8 hours. Remember to report the activities on the Service to America tally. One project completed during the month of October may be submitted by the chapter for the Service to America Committee Award. Item 4 on the CMR is to complete the information about the National Mask and PPE Project. Go back to the Service to America Committee page and click on the Check Your Mask Count. This will bring up information specific to the National Mask and PPE Project. Click on the hyperlink to get the numbers you need. This will launch a large spreadsheet. On the left side will be a list of over 3,000 daughters who have participated in the project. Daughters should have entered their masks and PPE through the SurveyMonkey and then repeated the information on the Service to America tally. But there's some who have entered information in one but not the other. Don't lose sleep over this. Work with what you've got. On the right, you can scroll down and find Kansas to locate the number of masks and PPE your chapter has made. To accurately reflect what the chapter has done for 2020 CMR, check this information on December 31st. Back to the CMR. There is a large text box for additional information about other service projects. This is a limitless box. This is where most of your time on the Service to America report should be spent. Please include details, lots of details, about the volunteerism in your chapter. Highlight the work of your members by reviewing what members have entered in the Service to America tally. This is a time to recognize members who may be in the shadows. It may not seem extraordinary for a member to write a card or letter to veterans, but if she's over 85 and has limited mobility, her contribution is huge and should be acknowledged. There may be also someone who just needs a little encouragement to boost their involvement. Let's be honest. It's nice to know that someone appreciates what we're trying to do. Some things to consider in your report. Reporting the numbers of volunteer hours. Is this an increase from last year, or are you holding steady? What have been your chapter projects for this year? Did anyone participate in a state or national project? What have various groups of chapter members done? Perhaps some of your daughters are members of another organization and complete other volunteer projects together, such as members of the same church working in a local food pantry. What activities have they done on their own? And what activities have members completed as part of Members or New Horizons courses? The final piece you will need to consider is the Service to America Committee Award. Read all of the information to understand the judging criteria and the award process. Take lots of pictures and have everything ready to submit your application through SurveyMonkey before the December 15th deadline. This was the first year this award was presented, and Kansas won the state award for the South Central Division, and the Sagamore chapter went on to win the National Chapter Award. The state award is determined by the percentage of chapters who submit a project for the Service to America Committee Award. The chapter award is based on the merit of the project. It must exemplify one or more of DAR's objectives of historic preservation, education, patriotism. It should be a project that demonstrates creativity and community impact. Read and follow the rest of the guidelines for consideration for the Service to America Committee Award by following the links from the committee page. Kansas Daughters have a reason to be proud of what we have accomplished. The reporting of hours and projects may just be a way for us to record what we've done, but they are just a reflection of the real impact and legacy of DAR. Kansas Daughters can proudly answer the call of President General Van Buren. Can we do it? Yes, we can. We just have to do the paperwork so that others know that what we've done. Madam State Regent, would you like to make some closing statements?
Thank you, Kathy. That was really helpful information about the Service to America goals and how to keep track and tally all of our important hours. Before we close, here are a few helpful tips for completing your chapter's reports. Number 1, be an oversharer. Our state chairs are excited to hear about your chapter activities, and if you don't share, they can't celebrate your accomplishments. So please share the details. Number 2, repeat yourself. Keep in mind that our state chairs will only have access to what you report in their committee. Sometimes an activity may overlap 2 or more committees. For example, your chapter participates in the Veterans Day Parade and completes a service project to honor our veterans on that day. Those activities are worth sharing in the Commemorative Events Committee, DAR Service to Veterans Committee, and the Service to America Tally. So do repeat yourself. Number 3, don't wait. If you wait until the last week of January to enter your chapter's information into the CMR, you likely will be overwhelmed and miss items to report. The CMR is available now, so why not begin adding information little by little, month by month? And finally, number 4, don't go it alone. Enlist the help of your chapter officers and committee chairs to collect and enter the information. Need help? Here are a couple of helpful resources. Thank you for taking the time to listen in on this presentation and the information related to the Chapter Master Report and the Service to America Tally. Best of luck reporting the information for your chapter. We look forward to reading all about your chapter's activities and service projects.